So welcome to Present Untense today. I'm curious, what is your favorite kind of apple? Do you have a particular apple that you like best? Anyone?
Yes.
What's your favorite, Sam?
The green apples that are just really sour.
Really sour, so Granny Smith apples?
Yeah.
Nice. Catherine, do you have a favorite kind of apple or a favorite color apple?
Yeah, I really like green apples too because I really like sour things, but they're also a little bit sweet too.
Cool. Miss Susie, do you have a favorite kind of apple?
I do. I love the Gala apples because they're just a little bit sweet and just a little bit tart. They're right in the middle.
Yep. We recently discovered a kind called Envy, and I'm really liking those because it's the same. They're a little bit sweet, a little bit sour, and the skin is kind of red with a little bit of yellow stripiness to it. They're kind of pretty. So, all right. So today we're going to read a story called The Three Apples. But first, we're gonna do a little bit of warm up with Miss Susie. So let's get started.
All right, are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you can you stand up for this one? I'm gonna move back here. Can you tell me if you can hear me? All right, can you hear me okay? Yeah. All right, so inhale your arms up. And exhale down.
Hold on.
Exhale down. And one more inhale up. Grab your left wrist with your right hand and pull it over. And then come back up and grab your right wrist, your left hand, and pull it over. And then come back up. And then here's try this, and you're gonna plant your left foot in the ground and grab your right knee. Pull it in. That takes some balance, so a little bit tough. Now take your right hand and open up your leg. Are you wobbling a little bit? And then come back, put it down, and on the other side, grab that knee, pull it in tight. You're giving yourself a big hug. And then open it up. And then come back. Now take your arms out wide and take your feet out wide and stretch really far. And then come back to center, and then you are going to bring your right arm cross over and then wrap it around like a snake is going around a tree. And then lift up just like that. And then stretch out again, really big. And then this time, the left arm goes on top. And you wrap it around, try to bring your hands together. And lift up your elbows. And then stretch out, spread your legs out, stretch out, and then bend over. Just go whoosh, and just bend over. And roll your spine all the way back up like a bike chain. And come back together. Let's do 3 breaths, and then we'll be done with our warm-up. So inhale, and exhale through your mouth. Go, whoo. And inhale, exhale, whoo. And one more inhale, and exhale, whoo. And that's a great one to do if you've had a long day.
Nice. I bet everyone, after being an online school all day, could use a little moving and deep breaths. So the story today is called The Three Apples, and it is a story for fall, which we are now in the fall season, and it's a story about sustainability. And I wonder if anybody has any idea what the heck sustainability is. Any ideas? If you want, you could just go ahead and unmute yourself if you have a sense of what sustainability means. one? Okay, so sustainability is a big old word, right? And it means being able to keep it going. So, um, so something is sustainable if we're only using enough that there's still enough left that we can keep using it and keep using it, right? So we can sustain it over time. Sometimes when you're singing, people talk about sustaining a note, which means holding it for a very long time. Sustainability is the ability to hold on to things like things that are in nature, natural resources for a really long time. So I'm going to read the story, and then Susie and I are going to help us to retell the story using yoga poses. So you can just go ahead and settle in to a comfy spot. And here is our story, The Three Apples. One fall morning, an old apple tree stood on the edge of an orchard, stretching one of its branches out over the orchard wall. Hanging from the branch were the three most magnificent apples in the entire orchard. They were perfectly round and ripe, with a color so yellow they almost seemed gold. A teenage boy named John came walking down the path along the orchard wall on his way to school. Noticing the three apples, he stopped underneath the branch and gazed up, longing to have one. As he stood there licking his lips, a breeze blew through the leaves of the apple tree, singing, "Here in the orchard are apples three. Who uses one shall a treasure see." As soon as the song was over, down plopped one of the apples right at John's feet. Imagining how juicy the apple must be, he picked it up, put it up to his nose, inhaled its sweet scent, and took a great bite. Then he took another bite and then another. Standing there, John took bite after bite until only the core was left. As he walked off in search of a garbage can in which to toss the core, the breeze once again blew through the leaves of the apple tree. This time, the gentle voice sang with a note of sadness, "Here in the orchard are apples too, but gone is the treasure that fell for you." Later that day, Mary came skipping down the path. Noticing the two apples hanging out over the orchard wall, she stopped underneath the branch and peered up in wonder at the enormous golden apples. As she admired the apples, a breeze blew through the leaves of the apple tree, singing, "Here in the orchard are apples too, a treasure they hold for a child like you." Just then, the wind picked up and plop, an apple fell on the path right in front of Mary. Wide-eyed, she picked up the apple and held it carefully in her hands. She didn't dare think of eating the beautiful apple, for then it would be all gone. So she decided to keep it. Mary went straight home, wrapped the apple in a piece of silk, and carefully laid it in a drawer. For days, the apple sat inside the closed drawer, and eventually it rotted. A week later, as Mary skipped down the path along the orchard wall, the wind in the apple tree sang to her, "Only one apple where once there were two. Gone is the treasure I gave to you." Henry was the next person to travel down the path one fresh fall morning. As soon as the branch came into sight, the last apple caught his eye. And as he got closer, Henry felt the breeze in the apple tree sing to him, saying, "Round and gold on the apple tree, a wonderful treasure hanging, see?" Henry stood underneath the branch, staring up thoughtfully at the great golden apple, when to his delight, it dropped right down into his hands. The first thing he thought to do was eat it, but then something deep inside him told him he should not. And then he knew. Henry took out his pocket knife and cut the apple in half through the center. There, inside the apple, was a special gift for Henry, a star. And in each point of the star lay a small black seed. Henry hurried home, where he carefully removed the seeds from the apple star and with gratitude planted them. After he had covered the seeds with the earth's soft, rich soil, Henry sat down and bit into the most delicious apple he had ever tasted. From then on, any time Henry walked down the path of the orchard wall, the breeze filled him and sang from every tree in the orchard the words, "A planted seed is a treasure won. The work of the apple is now well done." So in this story, the apple tree is really wanting to live on, right? To be sustainable. And so it's really hoping that someone will think to plant the seeds, which is what Henry ends up doing at the end, right? Have you ever cut an apple in half and looked inside and seen how it looks like a star? So usually, oftentimes we cut our apple, like if your apple is here with the stem, we often cut it straight down. But if instead you cut it horizontally, you'll see a star. It's pretty cool. So let's retell our story using some yoga poses. If you guys want, you can unmute to answer, or Susie and I will help you answer. But Susie, you're muted still.
I'll get the Zoom down just as soon as we all go back to normal.
Yeah, exactly. You and me both. So, okay, so the first question is, who is the main character of this story? Who is the main character? Go ahead, Catherine.
I think that it's probably the apple tree.
Yeah, I agree. It's not a person, it's the apple tree. All right.
That's tree, that's where you plant your one foot, your right foot, you can do that one. Bring your left foot, it can be either down here or up here. And then you bring your hands together, pull your belly in, shoulders are down and back, and your foot and your thigh are pushing into each other because you're a strong tree. Push. Now raise up your branches and come back down. Great job.
Nice. That's a hard one.
That is a really hard one. My tree weighs a lot.
So what was growing on the apple tree over the orchard wall? What did we find there? Not one, not two, but what do you think? You can just go ahead and answer. You don't have to wait for me to call on you. This isn't school. Go ahead, Catherine.
3
3 what?
apples.
Three apples.
3 golden apples.
Oh yeah, 3 golden apples. Awesome. All right, Susie.
All right, you guys ready to be roly-poly apples? So this is a fun one. You hug your knees and just roll around. And then see if you can roll back up. That's hard.
It's even harder when your dog helps you.
I have a few helpers. I might need to put them away.
All right, roly-poly apples. Okay, so which of the characters noticed the apples first? Do you remember the first person's name? You can just go ahead and unmute. What was the first person's name?
John, was it
Yeah,
John?
it was John. All right, so how are we gonna show John?
So there are 3 poses in yoga called the warrior poses. So this is called warrior 1. So we can think of John as sort of the first adventurer. And that what you do is you put your right foot forward and your left foot goes back, but your toes are a little bit out, sort of facing to the left. And then you bend that front knee and you go up and you feel your arms going up. It's you should feel like lots of energy coming through, called warrior 1.
Love it.
Good job.
Nice. That's strong warriors we have. Okay, so then when John looks up at the apples, what goes through singing the song? What happens? Go ahead.
There's a breeze.
Yeah, there's a breeze that blows
That's it.
through.
All right.
Singing breeze.
For some blowing trees. So get back in your tree pose. You can try the other leg if you want to, but if you don't want to, it's okay. Whichever leg. Bring your hands together Raise your arms up, and now sway.
Whoa.
Really hard. It's okay if you fall. It's okay. Woo!
A swinging tree. That's fun.
Good job, babe.
Yeah, so we're the breeze is blowing through the trees, right? And so one of the apples drops down, and what does John do with it? What does John do with it?
He eats it.
He eats it, right? All the way to the core. All the way to the core.
So to do this one, we call our core right here when we exercise. You probably heard your PE teachers talking about it. This is our core. So if you want to make your core be active, you lift up your legs like this and you roll your shoulders back. And then if you really want to feel it, you can let your arms go out. And then if you're really feeling crazy, you can straighten your legs.
Whoa.
That's our core. That's
That
our
is hardcore, so to speak. So he ate it all the way down to the core, but then he went and threw the core in the trash, which when I first read the story, I was like, hey, good job. You threw it in the trash. You didn't just throw it on the ground. But that's not really being sustainable, right? So that's why the tree wasn't very happy with that, because that would just be the end of that apple. No more apples. Okay, so who comes along next? Do you remember what the second adventurer's name is? Go ahead.
Mary.
Mary. Wow, you have such a good memory. All right, so we're gonna do another warrior pose, right?
There is warrior 2. So remember we did warrior 1, warrior 2 is the same. You can spread your legs wide. Right foot can point this way. Left one is going at a little bit of an angle. Bend the front knee. Back leg is straight. And then you lift your arms out like this. And you look over your right hand. And this is a hard one. It seems easy, but then if you stay in it a while, it gets pretty tough.
It really does.
Good job.
I like really focusing on my longest finger of my hand when I'm gazing out and trying to feel like the energy coming out of my fingertips. It's my little Star Wars moment, my Spider-Man moment. So then Mary stands, right, looking at the apple tree, and what comes back? What comes back on through? The breeze. Here we go, back into our blowing tree. Yikes.
Try to draw circles. One way, then the other way. Whoa, my tree is actually following, I think.
It's a hurricane. That was really good. And so then a golden apple drops down for Mary. And what does she do?
Decides to keep it, so she takes it back home and wraps it up in silk.
Yeah, she wraps it in silk and stuffs it in a drawer, which I gotta say, not the smartest move.
So for you, let's put it in the drawer. You just want to close everything down, shut it down, bending over, and try to pull yourself into your knees. And then open that drawer back up. Good.
Nice. The poor apple just rotted in her drawer, though. What a sad waste of a gorgeous apple. Okay, so now we come to our last character. Who's our last adventurer? Do you remember his name?
Henry?
Yeah, his name is Henry. Okay. How are we going to be Henry?
For your, it's called reverse warrior. It's just like the last one where you're looking out over your right hand and you're feeling that energy through your right fingertips. But this one, you swing back and you feel a stretch all the way through your right side. This is one of my favorite poses because it's a really good stretch we don't usually do. And you look up at the sky. And then come back up.
Nice. And then for a third time, what comes through the tree?
Ready for our tree again?
The breeze comes
Singing breeze.
through. Yeah. Okay, here we go again. Oops.
Are you guys getting better at it?
I'm gonna go back to my better leg, or my dominant leg, I should say.
One leg that's a little bit easier.
Nice. Nice. Okay, and so then Henry takes the apple and he decides not to just eat it and not to just save it, but he's going to really use it. So he cuts it in half. What does he see on the inside? What shape does he see?
A star.
Yeah, he sees a star.
Take a star. Stretch your arms wide. Stretch. Big stretch, just like we did at the beginning. Really feel the energy coming out of your hands, out of your toes. Big star. Great job.
Nice. Nice. And so then he cuts it in half, he finds the star, and at each point of the star, there's a seed. And what does he do with the seeds?
Plant them.
He plants them.
So everyone come back down on the ground. Bring your feet together and kind of hold your feet with your hands. And this is a really good grounding pose because you roll the shoulders back. You try to get your knees towards the ground. And you can gently flap them if you want, like a butterfly.
Nice.
Walk forward and try to pat the ground in front of you and plant your seed. See how many seeds you can plant forward. And then pat the dirt back and come back up. Really good.
Nice. Nice. What a great story. So now that we've told this story, now what do you think sustainability means? Do you have a better sense of what it means? Can you say how this story is about sustainability? What do you think?
I think the story is about sustainability because it's keeping the apple tree alive. Sustainability is keeping it going forever. And then but the next person could keep planting seeds and then the apple tree would just live on forever.
Exactly. So even when this one apple tree gets old and dies, right, there will be all these other new apple trees that have come from the seeds that have been planted. That is exactly right. So when we try to live sustainably, it means that we try to only use the resources we really need and to leave enough so that the people coming behind us will also have what they need. And so we try to use fuels that are cleaner, we try to reuse things, we try to recycle things instead of just throwing them away. We try not to waste things. We try to really live in a way that human beings and our life on earth can be sustainable and for all of God's creatures. Yeah. So as we wrap up today, Susie is going to lead us through some just calming and visualization exercises. Ooh, but she's mute.
So just staying with the theme of fall, because the leaves are just starting to turn a little bit. I want you to find a comfortable spot, either laying down on your back, or if you prefer to stay seated, whatever is most comfortable for you. Yoga is all about being comfortable, not about, forcing yourself to do stuff you don't want to do. So close your eyes if you're comfortable with that. And put your hands on your belly. And take a big breath in your belly in the lower part and feel your belly expand out. And then back when you exhale. Just take maybe 5 or 10 seconds and just we'll do it quietly on your own where you can feel your belly go out and come back in. Great job. Now stay where you are, and I want you to use that breath to start releasing any tension or anything that you're holding on too tight in your body, because we often, when we have things happen to us over the course of the day, good and bad, we tend to tense up our bodies. So with each inhale, imagine a part of the body. Think maybe about your forehead. And as you exhale, release your forehead. And just move down the body. When your next inhale, think about your jaw. And then an exhale, release your jaw. Inhale, think about your shoulders. Exhale, let your shoulders melt into the ground. Inhale, think about your back. Exhale, let them melt into the ground. And lastly, inhale, think about your legs. And exhale, feel your legs melt into the ground. Then think of a tree. Maybe there you have a favorite tree in your yard, or you just saw a beautiful tree once. And just think about the leaves changing into your favorite color. And it doesn't have to be a leaf color. It can be purple, or it can be anything that's not even normally a leaf color. With each breath, with each inhale, you might think of the tree, and exhale, the leaves change into that color. Then slowly blink your eyes open. Give yourself a big stretch. Stretch your arms over your head. Stretch your legs in the opposite direction. Big stretch. And then bring your knees into your chest. And start rolling around on your back if you're on your back. And then roll over to your right side and gently push yourself up to seated. And come into crisscross applesauce. And you're done. You did a great job with visualization. Sometimes it's hard to do those.
Awesome, everybody. So what a great way to end our day and the transition from school into after school. Maybe now you can get outside and enjoy some of this beautiful weather. Before we go, let's put our hands together and let's all say namaste. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste. Namaste. Thanks, everyone. It was great to see you. I'm glad you were able to join us, and we will see you again in a couple of weeks.
See you guys.
Great. Bye, everybody.
Bye.